Hello viewers, in this video I am going to discuss the next scheduling algorithm. The name of this algorithm is shortest job first serve scheduling algorithm. Uh, it's also called written as SJF scheduling algorithm. It's of both two types. It's non-preemptive as well as preemptive. The preemptive version of this algorithm is also called as shortest remaining time first scheduling algorithm. Shortest remaining time first scheduling algorithm. The preemptive version of SJF is called shortest remaining time first. I'll try to introduce this concept by taking a simple example. First of all, we will try to understand it with an example, and we will make a question, and then we people will solve that question. I am taking an example. Here I am taking 4 pencils, and I am assuming these pencils as jobs. Suppose this is the first process in the ready queue. I am giving it name process P1. Suppose it arrive in CPU at time interval 0. At 0 millisecond it entered in the ready queue. I am taking the next process, this move color pencil, and I am taking the name of this pencil as process 2, and it entered in ready queue at time interval suppose at 2 milliseconds. I am taking third pencil, this red color, red blue black combination pencil, and I am taking the name of this pencil as process 3, and it entered in ready queue. That means I kept on this process on paper at time interval 4 milliseconds. This is an assumption. We are just trying to understand the concept of shortest job first serve by taking this simple example. And this is the last process, this black gray color pencil, and I am taking this as process number 4, which entered at time interval suppose 5. At 0 time instance, at 0 milliseconds, this pencil is entered in and ready queue. The name of this is process P1. The name of this is process 2. It entered in ready queue at time interval 2. P3 entered at 4 and P4 entered at 5 milliseconds. And in this assumption, I am assuming that this process orange will complete. That means it will complete in how many time units? It take 4 milliseconds for its completion. Process number 2 will take 6 milliseconds for its completion. This is just an assumption. And P3 is taking 5 milliseconds for its completion, and P4 is taking 3 milliseconds for its completion. So this time unit each process is taking for its completion, that is called burst time or CPU cycle of this process. The time unit each process is taking for its completion, that time unit, that time is called the burst time or CPU cycle of that process. And the time when these processes entered in a ready queue, that very time is called their arrival time. Now from this query, as these pencils are I have kept these pencils on the paper. From this very query, I will make a question. Here I am taking 3 field names. First field name is process. I am making a triple. Second is burst time, and third one is arrival time. Okay, now check the name of every process. The name of first process is P1, the name of second process is P2, name of the third process is P3, and name of fourth process is P4. Now see the arrival time of this process P1. The arrival time of this process is 0, and its burst time, as I have mentioned here, its burst time is what? Its burst time is 4. Now check second process P2. Its arrival time is what? 2, and its burst time, the time which is written in bracket, is its burst time. Now see the third process P3. Its arrival time is what? 4 is its arrival time, and this is its burst time. Burst time is time taken for its completion. Now see the fourth process. Its arrival time is 5 and its burst time is 3. Now question is ready. From this question we will try to solve the way we will try to understand the way how we can solve this query with the help of SJF algorithm. Now from this query I am taking this query and I am going to solve this query. First of all we will solve it with non-preemptive SJF. Okay. The non-preemptive SJF is, we will draw its Gantt chart. Non-preemptive criteria is what? When a process 1 is suppose executing, that means CPU is allocated to this process, and while its execution is, when the execution of P1 is going on, any other process P2 entered in queue, CPU will not be allocated to this process P2 until P1 will complete its execution. When P1 will complete its execution, then only the CPU can be allocated to any other upcoming process. But this is not the case in preemptive. We will see the case, so what will happen in preemptive later on. First of all, we will try to understand non-preemptive SJF. The very first process which entered in queue is what? P1. So at 0 time instance, it entered in ready queue, and CPU is allocated to this process. And how much time it's taking for its completion? Burst time is 4, and at 4 time unit it is completed its journey. But till 4, how many processes are in ready queue? The arrival time of P2 is what? 2. The arrival time of P3 is 4, and their burst time is, the burst time of P2 is what? 6, and the burst time of P3 is 5. Both the processes are currently in ready queue. Now CPU will choose which, operating system will choose which process for its execution. Now the algorithm is what? Shortest job first serve. So based on shortest job first serve, CPU will be allocated to the job which has shortest burst time. Here which process has shortest burst time? Process number 2 has burst time 6 and process number 3 has burst time 5. So which process has shortest burst time? Process number 5 has shortest burst time. So that means P3 will be the process which will get CPU first. Now the burst time of process 3 is what? 5. It starts its execution at 4 time unit. After its completion, now the machine time is what? 9. Now at time 9 time unit, how many processes are in a ready queue? P2, whose execution time is 6, and P4, whose burst time or execution time is 3. Which process is smaller than smallest? P4 is smallest, so definitely CPU will be allocated to which process? P4. And its burst time is what? Its burst time is 3. It starts its execution at time 9 time units and complete take how much time? 3 time units, 3 milliseconds. Now the machine time is currently 9 plus 3, it's 12. Only one process left in ready queue, whose name is P2. Now P2 will get CPU and its burst time is what? 6. 12 plus 6, it's 18. Now you can check the addition of this. 6 plus 4, it's 10 plus 5, 15 plus 3, 18. And here it's 18. When the processing starts from 0, so definitely the sum of these 2, 3, 4, the sum of these all processes burst time will be exactly equal to the value written on the end corner of this Gantt chart. This is the Gantt chart which is telling us the sequence of execution of all these processes. Now from this Gantt chart we will calculate what? Turnaround time and waiting time. You can see the formula of turnaround time and waiting time in first come first serve scheduling algorithm video. I will give the related link in the description box. You can check it. Process number 1. In case of process number 1, see the left corner for waiting time. Left corner is saying that waiting time is 0 because it entered in ready queue at 0 times unit and it got a CPU at 0 time instance. The time waiting time is 0 and its turnaround time is how much time it take to for its completion and exit the CPU CPU. It's 4 minus its arrival time, which is 0. 4 minus 0, it's 0. Now see the waiting time of process number 2. Waiting time of process number 2 is what? 12 minus its arrival time, which is 10, and its turnaround time 18 minus its arrival time, which is 16. Now see the bar where P3 is written. This bar, this cell is denoting P3. Now the left corner of P3 is telling 4. On the left corner of this bar is 4 is mentioned here. With the help of 4 we will calculate waiting time. 4 minus its arrival time is what? 4. 4 minus 4, it's 0. That means the waiting time of process 3 is again 0 and its waiting time turnaround time is right corner. On the right corner of this bar 9 is mentioned. 9 minus its arrival time 4, so its turnaround time is 5. Now see the last process P4. 9 minus its arrival time is 5. 9 minus 5, its waiting time turnaround time is 9 minus 5, its waiting time is 4 and its turnaround time is 12 minus 5, which is equal to 7. 7 is the turnaround time of process number 4. In the previous example, which I have solved with the help of non-preemptive shortest of first serve scheduling algorithm, in the continuity I am seeking same question, but this time I will try to solve this question with preemptive SJF algorithm. This algorithm is also called as shortest remaining time first scheduling algorithm. First of all, we will try to understand what is the basic concept of this algorithm. After that we will solve it. As in the sequence, first of all, concentrate on the arrival time of every process. First of all, see the arrival times. Here, arrival times are written in the increasing order. That means in here, first process which entered in ready queue is P1. Second process which entered in ready queue is P2. Third process is P3, and fourth process is P4. In certain situations, this arrival time is not written in an increasing order. In a random format it can be mentioned. So this is on first of all, you people should make it give it increasing order sequence, so that you can easily solve the question. So luckily here in this query, the arrival time is written in the increasing order. The very first process which entered in the queue is P1, and it entered in the queue, ready queue, at time interval 0. At 0, now see the next arrival time. Next arrival time is 2. When it started its execution, and after 2 milliseconds, the next process entered in ready queue, whose name is P2. P2 entered here. Now what will operating system do? When 2 time unit completed of process 1, then next process entered in ready queue. Now operating system will compare the burst time of a new process with the remaining time of running process. That's why it's called shortest remaining time first. That means that process will get CPU first, whose remaining time is shortest. Now the remaining time of process 1 is what? 4 minus 2, it's 2. That means it need 2 milliseconds more for its completion. And the upcoming new process which entered in ready queue is P2, whose burst time is what? 6. Now which process is smallest? Whose time is smallest? P1 is smaller than P2. So definitely which process will get CPU? The smaller one will get CPU. Now P1 will continue its execution. P1 will continue its execution. After 2 milliseconds, when the time of machine is 4, then new process entered in the ready queue. When the time of the machine is P4, new process entered in the ready queue, and the name of this process is P3, and its burst time is 5, and P2 is still residing in the ready queue. Now P1 has completed its execution and it exits the ready queue, and the next there are 2 processes are present in the ready queue for the availability of waiting for the availability of CPU. The CPU burst time of P2 is 6 and CPU burst time of P3 is 5. Which process will get CPU first? The shortest one will get the CPU first. Now the CPU will be allocated to which process? P3 will get CPU first. After 1 milliseconds, P3 now machine's time is now 5, and new process whose name is P4 entered in the ready queue. Now current status of ready queue is what? P3's remaining time is 4, P2 is of 6 time units, and P4's burst time is 3. Now see the remaining time of P3 is 4, because currently machine's time is 5 and it has completed 1 unit, and remaining portion is time is 4, and the remaining time of P2 is 6, and CPU burst time of P4 is 3. So which process will get CPU first? Definitely P4 will execute first, and after that 2 processes will be there in the ready queue. Then P3 will execute, and at the end P2 will execute. Now we will see the whole concept through a Gantt chart. First of all, we will draw the Gantt chart. Now, it's little bit tricky, but easy to understand. The very first process which will get CPU is which process whose arrival time is 0. So at 0 time instance, 0 milliseconds, it will take CPU. But the next arrival time is 2. Now after 2 milliseconds, operating system will check the status of ready queue. Now P1's burst time, pending burst time is, remaining burst time is 2. Its total burst time is 4. 2 time unit are completed and the remaining time is 2. And the new process which entered in the ready queue has CPU burst time 6. So definitely which process will get CPU first? P1 will continue its execution. Now it will continue till the next arrival time. Next arrival time is 4. At 4, P1 has completed its execution and it exits the main memory. Now at time unit 4, what is the status of ready queue? In the ready queue we have one pending process whose execution time is 6 and one new process whose execution time is 5. Now which process is shortest? P3 is shortest, but it will execute till the next arrival time, because when new process will enter in the ready queue, definitely operating system will perform certain comparisons of related burst time of all the processes those are present in the ready queue. It will choose that process for execution which has the shortest time. Now at time when 1 millisecond of this process is completed, now the machine time is what? 5. At 5 time unit, the status of ready queue is P2 has burst time 6, P3 has completed its 1 milliseconds and remaining time is 4, and the new process which entered in the ready queue has burst time 3. Now which process will get CPU first? Having the shortest time. Which process has shortest time? P4 has shortest burst time, so definitely it will get CPU first and it will complete after 3 milliseconds. Now 5 plus 3, 8 is the exit time of this process. Now current status of P4 has completed. Now the current status of ready queue is this: P3's execution time is 4 and P2 needs 6 milliseconds for its completion. Now definitely CPU will be allocated to the process P3. For 4 milliseconds it will execute, and after 4 milliseconds the current status is 12 time unit, and the next process which will get CPU is P2 for 6 milliseconds. Now it's 18 and total is again 18 as per the previous question. From this question we will calculate the turnaround time and waiting time of all these processes. I am repeating the same query again. Always concentrate on arrival time. When a new process will arrive in the ready queue, definitely operating system will check the remaining time of running process and the burst time of new process, which from these two processes, that which process has the shortest time will get the CPU first. Now we will calculate the waiting time and turnaround time of both the processes. Waiting time, the time process reside in ready queue in a waiting state, that time is called waiting time. Now we will concentrate on the waiting time of first process P1. It entered in ready queue at 0 and it start execution at 0. So waiting time is 0. Done. And it exit the memory after its completion at 4. So it's the turnaround time. Turnaround time is basically the time it completed minus its arrival time. Its arrival time is 0, so turnaround time is 4 only. Now next process is P2. Now see the bar where P2 is mentioned. Hey, this is the bar where P2 is written. Now see the left corner. There is no breakage of P2. Now see the left corner, 12. The waiting time of process number 2 is 12 minus its arrival time, which is 10. And the turnaround time, see its right corner, 18 minus arrival time is 2. So 16 is the turnaround time of process number 2. Now see the process number 3. Now there is a breakage. While running P3, when 1 milliseconds of P3 are completed, then the CPU is allocated to process number 4. So there is certain twist. Now see how can we calculate the waiting time of process number 3. First of all, see this bar. Waiting time of this process P3 is, see the left corner of P3, which is on the left corner of P3, 4 is mentioned and it entered in the ready queue at 4. So arrival time, till waiting time is 0. But for that particular time instance, it wait in the ready queue. This time unit is 3. So 0 plus 3, it's 3. The waiting time of process number 3 is 3. And its turnaround time is, when it exits the ready queue, it's 12 minus, it exits the, it terminated at 12, to 12 minus its arrival time is 4. So 8 is its turnaround time. Now see the process 4. Process 4's waiting time is, it start its execution at 5 and its arrival time is again 5. 5 minus 5, 0. 0 is the waiting time of process number 4. Now see the right corner, 8. 8 minus its arrival time. 8 minus 5. 3 is its turnaround time. But there is one problem operating a system or a machine will face in case of shortest job first serve algorithm, that is starvation. Now what is starvation? Starvation is a situation when the longest processes are residing in the ready queue for a long interval because lots of shortest jobs are entering in the ready queue and operating system is providing them CPU first, and the longest process is waiting for a long time interval for its turn. Then that process will face a problem of starvation. That means it's starving for the availability of CPU, but it's not getting CPU because this lots of processes are entering in the ready queue. Those has shortest burst time than it. And the way to solve this situation is aging. Aging means, that means in an operating system has set certain criteria that after every 15 minutes it will age a long process, then it can be handled. I will discuss this concept in detail later on. Till date we will concentrate on the basic criteria of shortest job first serve scheduling algorithm. If you people are facing any issue, then you can comment me. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like my video, then please subscribe my channel. Thank you.